This is for all of my friends over in England, UK. Mr. Jim Worley was a World War II veteran, and he shared this story with me, and I'm going to share it briefly with you to encourage you guys and to remember what it's all about and what's really going on. Mr. Jim Worley was in World War II, and he was a fighting man in Europe, and he fought alongside British troops. He said they took a break in a hamlet one day, and this is a story directly from him that I'm retelling. He said they were exhausted from moving equipment and from fighting the war in general, and had found a hamlet and were taking a break. And he said he and his unit were relaxing in the shade, and he said they got up and rounded the corner, and lo and behold, there were some British troops, and they were sitting in a semicircle, and he said they were sitting there having a cup of tea, Brian. And he said, we got a big kick out of seeing these grown men sitting down on the ground, with their cross-leg style, and all of them sipping their tea and having a great time. He said, we got a really big kick out of that. He said, we called those guys limeys then. And I said, wow, that's interesting to, the inverse of that. And he said, well, it gets better. He said, while me and the guys were kind of cracking some jokes about those guys and their tea sets and playing and having a tea party, we took on some fire. And in the midst of the fire, everyone broke and took cover. And he said, and they had a break in the fire, and they jumped up and rounded the corner where these British troops had been having their tea party. And he said, Brian, I realized right at that moment why the British people and why the English people had ruled the world for as long as they had. He said those guys went from sitting on the ground and having a nice tea party to lions ready to defend their homeland with all that they had. And he said, I was very inspired by that. And he said, anytime that I have some darker moments in life, or I think that maybe things aren't going to work out, I always remember those guys from England and the fact that they were so calm and so nice, but when they were pushed, they turned into absolute savages, and they would defend their homeland, and they did. They would fight till the last man, woman, and child. So, for all of you guys in England and for the UK and for Great Britain, I'm certainly not saying that we need to have war by any means, but I am encouraging you to remember that England ruled the world for a long, long time, and that was because of the people that were there. Very resilient, very tough, very cunning, and they will fight for what's theirs. So this idea that we see on social media that the UK and England are over, in my opinion, that's a terrible mistake, and that's a massive mistaking of identity. Those are people that actually ruled the world for hundreds of years, and that was not by accident. You're not going to move in some foreigners there and root those people out of there. They've been there for, I don't know, millennium. So this idea that England and Great Britain is over with is fantasy. I don't believe it. I believe that the British people will rise up and they'll defend their nation the way they have for the last 500 years, and they will be successful.